Hi everyone, yes I know, a little bit late, but you know that's what happens when you meet such amazing people and you just do the talk before the show and you know, we just get carried away with it and what's going on. So I'm with Matilda Quist tonight and we'll get to, wow, as a young person, I mean there's so much that we spoke about just then in the last 5 minutes. You feel like you've already done an interview, I guess. But we'll go back to when you were 17.
Yeah, sure.
And something that shaped your life. I mean, after our conversation, I feel that it certainly did have a big impact with
huge.
you. Yeah. So, do you want to just explain to us in a couple of minutes what happened? Or
sure.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah. So 2 weeks after my 17th birthday, I was going into year 12 at high school, and I was dating a guy who was 21, beautiful guy. Filipino, just lovely, everybody loved him. He was such a free spirit, and I was only 17 at the time, just turned 17 as well. So he was a little bit older than me, and I decided that I really wanted to buckle down on school, so I wanted to be a teacher, I wanted to educate people, and I thought that year 12 was really important to me to progress to uni, so I decided to end the relationship on the basis that I really wanted to study at that time and not commit so much to our relationship because it was pretty full on at the time because he wasn't in school. And he told me that he was going to take his life. So I, talked him out of it basically and said, please meet me off the school bus the next morning. And he met me off the school bus and he gave me his suicide note. And we walked up to the school together, and I was trying to talk him out of it the whole time, not really thinking that he would do it either, not thinking that it was actually going to happen. And then I realised that he'd actually hit a rope, and he grabbed the rope out. And when I saw that, I was like, holy shit, he's actually going to take his life. And I wrestled with him. I actually punched him straight in the stomach to wind him, to grab the rope off him. I thought I've got to physically do everything that I can to stop this. And he fell to the ground, and then he got up and ran down to Janet Street Bridge and put the rope around his neck and went to jump off the bridge. And I was screaming. I didn't know what to do. And I remember at the time there was people walking past the bridge not doing anything. And that is a really big defining moment for me now, that I will never sit back if I think something should be done. I will always speak up.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that about me, but that's probably why I am so forward in things, because if things need to be done, they should be. And I felt like that person could have helped and they didn't. I went off to get help, and I rang the police, the ambulance, I rang his best mate, and I ran to the principal's office, and by the time we got down to the bottom of Janet Street, I was looking to the left and to the right, wondering where he'd gone, and when I looked across the field, he was hanging there.
Oh,
So,
dear.
yeah, he'd taken his life, and I remember the wind moving across his pants, and just remembering he's actually done this. And ran across the traffic, and his mate Anthony that I'd called was in the car park at Jesmond, and we both ran across and tried to get him down, and it's all a bit sort of hazy, but the ambulance came and we tried to resuscitate him. And remember the police told me what's the reason for this? And I said, I broke up with him, and he said, so you're the reason he killed himself.
Oh no, he actually said that to you.
Yeah.
Today, I mean, hopefully there's nothing like that said, because they're trained so much so that you just can't lay blame on someone like that. And what a horrible thing for you at 17 to have to go through. So that was a real defining moment for you, like you said. You now, make sure you help and speak up. And, it's so hard these days when things are happening like that. It's easy for people to walk away because it's like, I don't want to get involved, or I don't want them to come after me, or, how about just trying to help, or ring someone, ring the police, or try and, to get to you to help you.
Yeah.
So he actually lived, did he?
Yeah. So he was super fit. He was a boxer and a dancer, and they got his heart going again. but he'd been without oxygen for too long, so he was at the John Hunter Hospital, which I went to every day. And his mum obviously didn't want to turn off the life support because she was all he had and he was all he had. So yeah, he was in there for a few months, and then I think he went to a nursing home and eventually died of pneumonia on my mum's birthday, December that year.
Oh dear. So that was very impactful for you, wasn't it? Because from that, you went on a downward spiral for a few years.
Yeah, it was awful.
So what sort of things did you do to, like, it was obviously anger for you within, like what was that defining moment that turned you around, and what did you do for those 3 years that was so bad and self-destroying and or soul-destroying, should I say?
So the soul-destroying part was the guilt and the blame. So I was blamed for his death quite publicly because he had a lot of friends. So everybody knew me as the girl that killed Joe Chris, which was horrible because I would never want him to take his life. And I had groups of girls bash me and threaten me with my life and tell me that they were going to kill me or stomp on my head and just like awful stuff like that I had to deal with at the time. And I don't blame them for that. And they were doing the best they could with the resources they had at the time. And so
there's a lot of anger.
None of us had any coping mechanisms or ways to deal with what happened. So like I have full forgiveness for myself and for everybody at that time. But it was a horrible time, and I turned to drugs and alcohol. My anxiety was really bad. It was to the point where I was walking down Janet Street and I felt like someone was going to push me in front of a bus. So I guess parts of PTSD, which I didn't really recognise at the time. I didn't really understand what that was. But really horrific nightmares and depression, and then turned to drugs and alcohol, self-harming. A really self-destructive behaviour that was leading me to nowhere. Like I remember looking myself in the mirror and just thinking like, you're disgusting, I hate you, like the world is so ugly, it's such an awful place, like nothing's ever going to get better. I'd tell myself all these horrible things because that was how I truly saw the world at that time. And then one day I was driving home to Wakefield, and I decided that I was going to take my life. So I sped up towards a telegraph pole, and just at the last split second that I had the decision to take my life, I realised that I couldn't pass on the pain that I was feeling onto my family. So I pulled out, and then I realised that if I'm not going to die, then I need to live for something. And that was the moment that I realised I had to turn my life around. And
that was your defining moment.
That was
how old were you then?
It's a blur. I still have people tell me stories of things that have happened in the past, and I don't really remember. I don't really remember what
That's
happened.
okay. It's all part of it, isn't it, really? I mean, the important thing was that you decided to turn your life around and to make something of it and to be positive about the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And so what was the first thing that you did?
So I started working on the external self, like doing, eating better and doing fitness and trying to change my circle of friends and really focusing on stuff that I could control. So now I think back and I look at it like it was a midlife crisis. So at the time I broke up with my fiance, I moved house, I got a boob job,
Wow.
I bought a Harley.
That's not so bad. Come on.
I did all these things that I felt would make me...
They're all external though.
But they were all external things, so none of them were actually working on the internal resources that I should have been working on. But I didn't know. I didn't know at that time.
Did you have any guidance by like a psychologist or a counsellor or someone that you would talk to that would give you any guidance?
I had seen counsellors and psychologists, but I wouldn't say that I was guided by any of them. I didn't want to. I didn't want to see anyone at the time. I remember going to see a liver specialist because I was drinking so much, and he told me to stop drinking. And I looked at him and said, I don't want to stop drinking. Like, there was no...
So because it's about, like, when that situation arises, you just want to numb the pain?
Yeah.
So it's either drugs or alcohol because that seems to work?
Yeah, and there were mornings where I woke up and would drink just straight bottles of rum.
Wow. I couldn't do that if my life depended on it. I don't like rum. But, okay, so we've gone from that, and then where did you go that you started to pick yourself up? What was the next thing that you actually did to pick yourself up and start getting up into that world that you're in today? And we'll get to that in a minute.
So I started focusing on work. At the time I was managing a coffee shop, I think, when things were still not particularly great. And then I moved into a kitchenware shop and was managing that for a while, and that was great. Like, I was really good at it. I was managing the high stock store in New South Wales as a 21-year-old. You know,
yeah, that's amazing.
I was really good at what I was doing, but still wasn't particularly happy. And then I decided that I would like to work in the mines. So I'd grown up on 25 acres, and I loved machines. I loved, I just love like the tractor, and I love that sort of stuff. Anything with an engine.
Yeah.
So I got a job in the mines, and I was doing that for a little while. And
so that's just what sort of job in the mines? Like you say, I just got a job in the mines. Like, how did you do that from a coffee shop and kitchen shop and management, and then I just want a job in the mines?
Yeah, so I researched into it, and I did a course through a contracting company, and you weren't guaranteed spots. I remember it was the first time they'd ever run the course, so there were 4 people in it, and only 2 of us got offered positions.
Wow.
Yeah, so and then we got offered that, and then went to site and had interviews at site, medical and all that stuff, and I became an operator, and I did that for a couple of years. And
so what does an operator do?
Driving the dump trucks around.
Oh, really?
So,
yeah, I can see you doing
that. So the biggest truck's 242 tonnes.
Wow.
At 797.
Wow.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. I used to love those trucks, they're great. And then one night on the way to work, I actually had a motorbike accident.
So did you used to ride your bike to work?
Yeah, sometimes.
So your Harley, you get on your Harley and you go to your mining job and drive your big trucks.
Yeah, yeah. So at this stage I only had a Yamaha, a 250, and I just played a semi-final in rugby union, and then we lost, and I wasn't in the best mood, so I rode my motorbike up to work, and maybe 200 or 300 metres from the front gate, a kangaroo jumped out in front of me, and I couldn't do anything, and I hit it. It was pretty bad. I broke my leg in 3 places, had a few months off work, but it ended up being a really good thing because I spent all this time studying. So when I was at home, I started to study my S03E in fitness and start a bit more of an internal personal development journey. And
did you have a goal then to?
No, so I didn't want to be a personal trainer. I just wanted it for my own personal development.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I never really wanted it to actually be a personal trainer at all. And then when I was in the office there, I sort of built rapport with everybody there, and I learned computer systems. And before I was to go back to work, they said to me, "Hey, do you actually want to apply for a management position here?
Wow.
Like, you've got the skills of the computer, you've got management experience, you've got mining experience and operator experience. Like, we know you and we like you. We think you'd be a really good fit. You're welcome to apply." So I ended up, applying for that, and I started that job, and then I was managing. I think my first job was 95 employees at one site, and then I ended up managing over 200 employees across 5 different mine sites in the Hunter Valley.
Wow. That is just fantastic.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
So after you broke your leg in 3 places, how did you end up playing for Australia, for gridiron for Australia, like representing Australia, like in the World Cup? Like, come on, how does that actually happen?
Yeah, so a lot of determination. I remember actually going to my first ever gridiron training at Shortland Oval on crutches. I literally turned up on crutches, yeah. They couldn't believe it. And I'm like, well, bones will heal, right? And it took us almost 2 years before we could field a team, because it takes a lot of training, to learn how to play. Like, it's still a confusing game.
I mean, I love gridiron, but I'd never played Australia. I just wouldn't even get there, but Anyway, so I mean, you must have felt really fulfilled after that. Like, you must have felt pretty damn good about yourself.
Yeah, I guess like the goals always change, so you feel quite good about yourself, but you always want to work on more things. So when I actually got back from the World Cup, and by this time I was also working as a permanent firefighter, and I kind of felt
So
like
a firefighter as well.
yeah.
That's just amazing.
Yeah.
How did you get into that?
It's actually a friend, well, he was one of my employees when I was working in the mines. I was talking to him one day and he said, "Oh, you should apply to be a firefighter." I'm like, what? What do you mean, a firefighter? Like, I just didn't really know that you could just go and apply to be a firefighter. I didn't really even ever think of it. Like, it never gave me the thought. And then I spoke to him about it and I kept talking to all these people. I'm like, that is the coolest job in the world. Like, how awesome is that? Like, that's right up my alley.
So you did it?
Yeah, so I just went and did it. And
was that full time?
so the first time I applied was full time, and because I'd done hundreds of interviews in the mines, I was a bit too confident. I was like, oh yeah, I'll be fine in the interview. And I blew the interview. It was really hard. So I didn't get through the first time. So I went away to my local station and became a retained firefighter, which means I work on call. So I still had my job in the mines, but then when I'm not at work, I'm basically on call as a firefighter there.
Do you still do that now, today?
No, so I'm doing professional firefighting now, like as a permanent firefighter. So I'm
so
not on call, I have set shifts that I go to.
So you're permanent?
Yeah.
Wow, you've just done, and I mean, how old are you?
29.
29, and all that in such a short span of life. And then today you have a business where you empower others.
Yeah.
And how did that start? How did all that start?
Yeah, so when I got back from the World Cup, I started to feel like I wasn't doing anything. So I went from training 15 hours a week and being sponsored by different brands and doing all this stuff to working as a firefighter, which I love. But I had like all these days off where I was just walking my dogs and like just relaxing and doing yoga, and like it was great, don't get me wrong, but I felt like I wasn't contributing to anything and I wasn't growing as a person. I was just, I don't know, just doing everything day to day, and it was great, like don't get me wrong, but I really wanted to move forward, and I will always want to move forward in my life. So I remember breaking down one day on the way to work, and my partner rang me on his way to work, and he's like, "Why are you crying?" Like, I'm just not doing anything for people. And he's like, "What? You're on your way to be a firefighter, like you're on your way to work right now." I said, "I know, but like what about my days off? I feel like I'm not contributing enough, or like I wasn't putting in enough to the community, or putting in enough of myself to move forward." So he said, "Well, why don't you do something about it?" So I'd done this yoga class with this lady named Zoe Swain, who is amazing.
She is amazing.
Yeah, she is. She's like a real life goddess.
Yeah, she is, isn't she?
And it was one of the first ever yoga classes I did, and she was talking about like all this stuff, and it just resonated with me. Like, I almost broke down in tears in the class, and I sound like a really big crier. So just to make note, I don't usually cry at all. And I went to see her after class, and I was like, "I want to know you. I need you to be my friend."
Oh,
it must have been like so awkward for her,
but how empowering for you though, like to be able to go up and say that to her.
Yeah.
Because I mean, she's coming on the show. We would be interviewing her in time. Yeah.
Awesome. And knowing her now, like she's just so into that. Like, yeah, cool, let's do this. And so I went and saw her for a session, like a coaching session, and we sort of spoke about like what I was doing, and because I was really unclear on where I wanted to go with what I was doing, and basically it came out that I wanted to coach people. And I wanted to help people. She's like, "Well, you know, why don't you do it? What can you do?" So I decided that, right, I'd start to research, and I researched all these different places, and the best one I found was the Life Coaching College. And then I got a call from the guy who was running it, Glenn Murdoch, and yeah, we spoke on the phone, and I was like, "Let's do this, let's book in." And it just worked out that the next class was that weekend, starting that weekend in Sydney.
Oh, meant to be.
It was, yeah. So I signed up.
Wow.
And started, and that's been a great journey since I've been doing that, and I've learnt so many wonderful things about it, about that coaching journey, and here I am today running my own business, and it's been very successful. Yeah, I've been really loving the entire journey of it.
And I guess too, you know, after your whole journey and where you've come from, and then you yourself was empowered enough to do something that now you want to empower others.
Yes.
And how fulfilling must that be for you?
Oh, it's so great.
You know, when you look back and think that perhaps that you may not have made it through what you went through, you know, and it's like sliding doors moment, I think, where you could say to yourself, well, had I have not had the attitude, I would not be here where I am right now.
100%.
You know, had I have just curled up in a little ball and said, I'm out of here, you know, life would have been so different for so many other people that are connected with you.
Yeah.
So, to me, I just think the message is to be really, really positive in life and make sure that you're doing something that is worthwhile and that you're loving yourself while you're doing it.
It's all about the internal growth. So I found, like, through my own journey, because it was quite a long one, it's not like it just happened overnight and then I became a life coach.
Yeah.
So I focused on this external stuff, but it's actually the internal tools that you need. And I'd done this for so many years and I'd made my life better, but life coaching really took it to the next level, that now I've got like packages basically where I'm like, let's move you from where you are now to where you want to be in 6 weeks or 12 weeks or whatever they want to do, and then they can move forward with that in such a short span. You don't have to wait 7 years and figure it out on your own. You don't have to go and do all these external things and waste money and all this stuff and then realise that you're still not happy. You can actually start to work on your internal skill set now. You don't need to wait.
So if someone wanted to contact you as and have you as their life coach, where would they go to? Have you got a website or something like that?
Just my website, which is coachingcorporate.com.au. So I've got my phone number on there, my email. You can send me a message from the website directly. Just give me a call. I do a free 30-minute consult at the start just to see if we're the right fit, to see if coaching is what they want. So I find that most people don't really understand what coaching is and they think it's all about me advising them or telling them what to do.
Or it's business, business orientated as well.
And that's not the case at all.
Yeah.
At all. It's about what you want and what you think and what you feel and how you can move forward. It's a really fun and exciting and empowering process to go through. And I love it. Like, I love watching people's journey. Even just after one session, like, I'll get a text message saying, I've done this and this and this, and like, I just feel like, you know, I'm kicking all these goals and doing all this stuff, and it's just so amazing. And like, all I've done is just help them build internal skills. And it's
not all.
It's just,
I mean, you've got to value what you do for people,
Oh, for
because
sure.
it really is. It's life changing for a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and that's what we hope, that it's life changing.
Yeah. It's sustainable development, so it's not just giving you a band-aid to put over something that's happening. It's about building the skills and building different tools and techniques to move forward in your life in a sustainable way, so that you can actually take all of these things for the rest of your life, not just for what's happening with you right now. You can build all the internal stuff to keep going.
So, each and every week, I ask my guests to give a message of hope to someone out there that's watching. So it might be someone that maybe wants to look at a way of changing their life, or learn to love themselves a little more, or, you know, look for something positive in their life. And I ask my guests to give a little message of hope for that person. Perhaps it's sitting at home right now watching this show and wondering, what is it that I can do, or how is it that I can do it, you know, that sort of thing. So would you like to look down the camera and give my guests out there a little message of hope that you think would be life-changing to them?
Sure. So I don't want to sound cliche, but just take action on something. Often we feel really overwhelmed with everything that's happening in our lives, and if we could just take action on one thing, what would that thing be? And to just go and do it. Because if we sit around in that overwhelm and we're creating a space that we just can't do anything, let's just look at one thing and take action on that to move you forward.
That sounds wonderful. And, you know, contact Matilda should there be something that you need in that arena of coaching. And, of course, you know, like, thank you to the amazing viewers that each and every week support what I do. So I've got a few little names here that I'm just going to read out. If Dee, who's taking the place of my producer, can move a little bit forward. Oh, there we go. Because, you know, it's the age thing, it's the eyesight. So here we go. We have Natalie Louise, hi, and Sharon Sharp. Thank you for your wonderful message to Matilda this evening.
Thanks,
She
Sharon.
got that before we went on So thank you. Joanne Quirk, thank you. Chris Rourke, Lynette Brock, Meryl Dixon, Colleen Dandelion, Frank Day, and thank you, Frank. Now, Frank's in hospital at the moment. He has had, he's on dialysis. He's had really amazing operations that we're lucky to even have him. So we're sending him get well messages. So hi, Frank.
Thanks for watching, Frank.
Yeah, thanks for watching, because then I know you're okay because you're actually watching the show, you know. So, and thank you, Georgia. Thank you each and every week. I know Georgina, Harry, I'll just thank you. And Remy Castle, thank you. Kim Williams, Sylvia Lang, thank you so much. Sylvia's been on the show before and she had an amazing story to tell. So for some of you that haven't watched her show, just have a look at Sylvia Lang. It's an actual 3-part series and quite fascinating too. And we'll be catching up on a few of little changes that have happened since we've last recorded her show. And hi, Wayne, and hi, Stephen Smith. So thank you everyone for, you know, doing what you do each and every week and turn that computer on and watch this Facebook show. I really appreciate it. So if you do have anyone out there that would like to tell their story, you know of anyone that has a fascinating story or a life-changing story or something positive to give others, you know, contact me. You can contact me through the website. You can contact me through this page, www.onthecouchwithkelly.com. So that's my website you can go to. I've got a YouTube channel as well. So hopefully I'll hear from you. And know that, you know, out of life there could be so many things that could be presented to you that you could certainly give up hope in life. And that's not what we want you to do. You know, seek help. Talk to someone. There are so many organisations out there also. If you don't want to tell a friend or you don't want to tell a family member and you want to remain private in your situation, that's okay too. The mental health line is 1800 011 511. So, you know, if nothing else, ring Lifeline or ring the mental health line and get, you know, some assistance some way. They can point you in the right direction to get help. That's what I'm all about. That's what the show's all about. You know, no matter what in life, know that you're going to be okay. Thank you, Dee. You can switch us off now because we've finished. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye for now.